Hiya guys, and welcome back to Aid's Workshop. So, we're getting close to Christmas, so first of all, can I say a Merry Christmas to everybody? And I really mean that, like, let's have a good one this year. We've had a few dodgy years with COVID and all the rest, so let's have a good one this year. Anyway, that said, from the offset, I'm going to say this is going to be a long video. I've been doing bits in the shed over the last couple of weeks. Don't get in here very often, so it's a sort of all the little clips put together, and it's ended up being quite a long video. I tried to edit it down, but anyway, the more I talk, the longer it's going to be. So that said, this video, it shows, I was going to edit it down, cut out all my changes of minds and my thoughts and what have you, and I thought, you know what, let's just leave it in and show how I go about making something. So we're going to make the saddle clamp for the mini lathe. So that's the start of it, and it'll show all my changes of mind and plans as I go along. I didn't set out with an idea at the start, I just went with it, found a few bits of metal and started machining. So we'll show you that as we go along, and it was basically a case of using what I had lying about. So enough speaking, let's get on with it. So we're making a carriage lock, and I'm going to put it in this area. So first thing I want is something underneath with a thread in it that's going to slide on the underside of the bed as like a T-nut. So I'm explaining this after I've already made it. I did show the starting of the T-nut, but I'd lost the video. What happened was I obviously had turned the camera on, did another take, forgot to turn it off. When I pushed camera on, I actually turned it off, and then the next clip I came to record was half an hour of me messing about, not on camera as it were. So I cut all that out and I'm redoing this bit. So a bridge across the top with a hole in it that can have a bolt of some description to go down underneath and pull up the T-nut. So the next clips you're going to see are me having already done the perimeter of the T-nut, putting on the two shoulders either side to make it into a T-nut. So that's where we are to start with. But yeah, we're going to make a clamp arrangement for this, and you'll see all my changes of mind along the way as to how I go about it. Okay, that's the four outer edges. Open the vise up now, we'll lay it flat on its back, flash over the face and see what profile we're going to put on it. Just scratch it over just to flatten that surface off. I'm going to be putting an undercut either side anyway, so it's not critical. This is just, yeah, make it look nice. I was 0.18 cut from touch off just to get rid of the scale. We'll change over to a high-speed steel cutter then, I think, after this. We'll do a measure up, see where we gotta be. I think we need to find the middle of it as well. In this orientation, find the centre, so we'll get the wobbler up, then we'll put a cutter up. Okay, I think, yeah, I'll call that flashed over for what it's doing. Perfectly adequate. I'll let that feed run the cutter off the job. I had a brush just now. Well, not half a brush. Time to invest in some new brushes, I think. Let's just deburr that. Oh, no. Threw up quite a burr there. Direction of cut didn't help. Let's have a chamfer on there. I don't want to take it out of the vise. That side should be a lot better. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so change cutter now, put the wobbler up, find the middle of that, and then we'll step out either side to whatever dimension it's got to be. We need to work that out as well. So find the middle, Size of the wobbler doesn't matter if you're centering. So Y0, let's go the other side. Wait for the touch. There we go. So Y half on the DRO, and that is central about. Okay. Wobble right now. Let's put a cutter up. So I got a 10mm cutter, but I haven't. I got a 3/8 cutter. From the centre line, let me just stop the cutter so you can hear me. If it were a 10mm cutter, which is larger, I would have to offset 17.5mm either way to leave myself with 25 in the middle. Because it's smaller than that, I'm just going to do a cut 2.5mm deep, back and forth, both sides at 17.5 offset. We'll give it a measure and see how much we got to come in, equal amounts both sides, to make the high part, or the high part of the T, the thin part of the T, 25mm. The slot in the lathe is about 25.8, so I'm more than happy with 25. So that's, in fact, I'm going to go 2.5mm deep, I think. Let's have a look. I will go 3mm. So another 0.5mm. And swap to the other side, same offset, 17.5. And then we'll measure it up, see where we got to be. So I measured it up, 25.4, thereabouts. You know, this isn't critical, this. So 0.2 offset, so I reduce the offset by 0.2, stay in at depth. So I'm at offset 17.3 now. Just do that face. Flick across the other side to the other base. I've still got my centre position as 0, which is where I want the tapped hole to be. So decisions, tapped hole, what size? I'm going to say either M6 or M8. Make a decision, eh? Okay, 17.3 offset, back the other way. M6 or M8? M6 be more than strong enough to lock it. Plate's thick enough for M8. I don't really want to break its neck when I'm pulling it, so I don't want that much power in it. It doesn't need huge amounts of power to lock that carriage. I'm going to go for M6. So I need to work out where the M6 hole is going to go. That's the block finished, other than deburring and tidying up. Probably chemical blew it. So let's have a think, M6 or M8. Let's just go back to centre, which is where we're going to want the hole. Is that true? Is that true? Yes, centre of the slot, that's where I want the clamping force. Okay, yeah, centre of the slot. So drill chuck up next. Let's take the head up, swap over to the drill chuck, and we'll find a position this way. So, not critical at all. I've decided I'm going to go 11mm in. Just picked up the corner there, set a 0 in X. 11 it is. Or do I go 12? Let's make it 12. 11 just seems an odd number. Well, 11 is an odd number. Okay. 0 in Y, 12mm in X. Yeah, that would become evident why it's offset one way. I don't want the bottom, don't want this. If I put it in the middle, and it's in the middle of the clamp bar on the top, where the bolt comes through, this is going to stick back a fair way. It doesn't matter. doesn't matter, because the tailstock, if I ever use it, it's going to come up, but it's not going to foul that, because the clamp under the tailstock is way further back. How far offset is that? Let's put a centre drill up and have a look. I may change my mind, which is my prerogative, I suppose. Would it hurt to put it in the middle? What disadvantage is there to putting it in the middle? Well, an advantage is it doesn't matter which way round it goes. If it's in the middle, there's more strength in it than one end, because it's not bending it from one end. If it's offset, there's less sticking out for swaths to stick on top of. You know what? I'm talking through my hat. I'm going to go. That is 34 in total. Let's have that X undone. I'm going to go at 17mm. And the size doesn't matter really, a hoot. Okay, DRO saying 17.3. Yeah, okay. That's where it's going. What's locked up? Ah, fine piece locked up. It's a bit slow, isn't it? So, M6 or M8? Now's time to make your mind up before you drill a hole. M6 or M8? M8. M8. Nope, M6. There's a reasoning. M6. Okay, so tap and drill for M6. Let's go 5.2. And that fits. Where's my cutting compound? I've got it here. We'll have a little chamfer in there while I'm at it, just to help the tap start straight from draw aid. That should do me. Okay, I'll tap that M6, it's straightforward enough. Okay, right, that's all tapped now. Take it out, deburr it, tidy it up, put some chamfers around the edges maybe. Oh, try it in the slot, that's another thing we need to do. We'll do that next when we deburr it. So, deburred, fits in there. I dropped it again. Oh, I tell you what. Should we try that again? Right, okay. Fits in there, as you can see. I should have put a bolt in the top hole, shouldn't I? Slides along nicely. Bit of side play. You know, that's nothing. But at least that's a machine face it's running in, as opposed to trying to size it off the underside of the casting, which is going to be all lumps and bumps. But yeah, okay. So that's the clamp plate, which is going to go follow along with the carriage underneath there. This is way over thickness. How thick is it? Let's have a quick squint. That is, cripes, it's about 14mm thick. Doesn't need to be anything like that. Probably drop it down to about 10. But yeah, so that's the start of that. Way too wide. Let's have a look. Actually can be about 18mm total width. So 14mm thick by 18, and let's have a look what sort of length we want it. What have we got now? Should clean up about 95. Doesn't need to be much longer than about 90mm. Okay, 18 by 10 by 90. 18 by 10 by 90. That's my size. I'll write it down. We'll block up to this piece. So we'll put a flat face on one side first, and I'll put it on a bigger parallel, stick it up in the air, and we'll machine the other side to bring it down to 18. I'm working on the stock material on the front and back at the moment. We will need to square it up, so I'll probably leave it sort of 18 and a half, and then we'll go through the usual squaring up procedure once we've roughed it. So going across it 1mm at a time. Yeah, no need to overwork this mill really. It doesn't take long. As you can see, I've got a fairly high feed rate. So yeah, it was about 25mm when I started. I've taken 4 off already. There's only 3 more mil to come off. So I was just about to take it out of ice, and I thought, why not bring it to length first? So I just cleaned that end up, measured it, and there's 5.5mm to come off. And I just spotted, hold on 2 seconds, that my parallel ain't going to let me take that much off. Oh, parallel's not dead tight. Okay. Right, so make sure we're not machining our parallel. So I'll just peck my way across this. I set a 0 on my DRO. Obviously change the cutter to an end mill. We'll take this down. At least 4mm to come on. We'll take this down to the length. Again, it's in fresh air, but we'll make it 90mm long. I seem to recall it was 5.7 to come off. I'll stop at 5mm and we'll have another measure, I think. That's 3. Taking about 0.25 a pass. 4 passes a mill. About 10 thou every pass. But those across the pond, people. Mill to come on. 39 thou. This little mill, you know what, it does the job, but you just can't go heavy with the cuts, that's all. That's 5mm nominal. Take a string across there. So a quick measure. .49. So yeah, another half-mil up there. That should be it. Do a couple of springs again. Well, that should beat my 90mm. Let's just come back and confirm. 18.999. Okay, be a bit less by the time it's cooled down, but Right, we'll get a vacuum in here. I think we got a lot of swarf laying around, and I don't like this spiky stuff. Is nasty, gets in your skin. So we'll have a vacuum round there, then I'll take it out, we'll deburr it, we'll move on to the next step. So we're just cleaning this space up now, 90 degrees round. We're on overall length, we're on thickness, well, I left it around 19 mil, but that's absolutely fine. But this size, I've upped it from 10 mil to 12 mil, and I'm thinking maybe 13 mil. I'm going to make it 13 mil. I don't need to remove the meat. Let's make it stronger. So flash this side first. Okay, that was a cut of, well, 0.25, so it was close to flat. We'll run that over, flip it 180 then, and do the other side. Now there's a few details on the other side that I'll explain when I've done this. What's happened there? I didn't lock the quill and the quill has dropped back. Okay. Ah yes, silly. So sometimes when I engage the fine feed and I put my cut on with it, if I don't lock the quill, it can push back sometimes. So let's just go a tad more. Lock the quill. Right, I'll do the first cut again with that quill locked in that position. You've got to be on the ball, haven't you? You know, keeps me on my toes. That's better. It's only soft stuff, this. But it's a bit gummy. Unless you've got a dead sharp cutter, it'll roll a burr up, which it's rolling a lot of burrs. So it appears that as I was going across on the first cut, it was pushing up the whole way. That's a deeper cut, that end. Bit of liquid. Right. I think we have it this time. So, what was 2 quick passes ended up having to do it twice, but never mind. I was going to put the wider cutter up and do this in one hit. But this is the other side. I'm sure it's going to be flat enough. The top side I'm going to want this cutter up for. Hence why I didn't swap over to have to swap back again. So just taking it easy across there. It's going to be coming out. It's going to be deburred. And then we'll flip it. You know what, I think I'm going to run that again, but very gently. In fact, the end of that cutter. Let's just have a look. Not that happy with that. Let's just run the cutter through the centre, see what happens. The end of that cutter's got a bit of wear on it. It's not the sharpest it could be. Surface. Yeah, I think the end cutting ability of this cutter has come to the end of its days. Okay. You know what? I gotta bite the bullet. Let me just see a second. That cutter will do it. I'm going to swap cutters. Do it in one go. Do it properly. Okay, so that's how we should have been doing it in the first place. That cutter is wide enough to do it in one pass. took a scratch. So I'm running really fast. Okay. Right. So, pop that out, deburr it, flip it 180. So I flipped it over now, and was originally going to do this 10mm thick, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to clean this up and leave it at that thickness, because I do need to put a big undercut in it. I'll show you why, but we'll do this first. So let's just get somewhere near. Give me a touch. Right, let's go to that end so that I'm not spraying myself in swore. Let's give it a touch. There we go. It's just taking the scale there. More in the middle. That's 0.2. Let's see how that does. Put a slightly bigger parallel under because I need to put a step in this. Okay. I'm going to call that size there. I'll show you why I've risen it right up and why it needs a step or a shoulder in it. Okay, so when I looked at this originally, I was thinking of blocking it, sticking it on there, maybe putting a hole in the back of it so that that screw didn't foul. But of course, just as well I thought about it a bit more, that moves back and forth. So I'm going to put an L-shaped cutout in the back of the block so that we avoid the grub screws and the nuts for adjusting the gib. So that's why it needs a cutout. Let me just get a rule. I've already worked out that it's 10mm high, done that bit. I'm just going to have a look. Well, they're stuck out about 6mm. So it's going to be 10x7, just to give myself clearance. So I just measured how much was sticking up from my vise, and it was 9mm. Okay, so we got plenty now. Well, let me just double check. I just changed parallels. Yeah, it's nearly 12mm there. Okay, so I'm just going to touch tip on there, set a 0 on my quill. Okay, I need to go 10mm deep. So I'll do that first. In fact, if I go to about, let's go 9 on my quill. Oh, I'm on the range of that cutter. Okay, well, we can try it. So I'm just going to wind across in Y till I hear the cutter engage and set a 0 in Y. I think that's more the burr. There we go. Y0. The noise is the burr, or the major noise was the burr on the top, from where we just machined the top. Okay, should we try 0.5mm? We'll try it. Right, so we're a mil off depth. And we need to go 7 in total. Let's just slow the feed down. Let's see how this copes. So we're 9mm deep, 0.5mm of cut. You know what, change of plan. I think what we'll do is do it the other way, use the face. So I'm going to go to 6.5 this way and lock Y. We can do this in 0.5mm steps. So we're going to plunge it rather than, well, that's 0.7. Let's try that. So we're going to plunge down or back and forth instead of moving out in Y. Just less load up the spindle known quantity. I know it can do this. Feed a bit. Okay, so I've got a bit of wax to come off. Bring you back when I'm done. I've been milling away at this, and I'm down 9.3 deep, and I'm 6.5 in, as I described earlier. I thought, oh, I'll take, you know, I'll start stepping across point one at a time as I get near. I'll go down point one, across point one, just to take a load off the cutter. And I'm going about this all the wrong way. I'm making life hard for myself, and I'm making obstructions on the lathe where I don't really need them. Yeah, I've gone completely down the wrong track. I mean, this piece of steel might come in handy for, you know, yet, but I've gone completely the wrong way with this. Let me show you. So my whole thought process was mounted on the top here, and obviously I'd have to avoid these screws with the back, which is what that step's all about. Put a hole in the top, I can put a handle in, screw it up, or a bolt anyway. We made the keep plate, that's absolutely fine, that's going underneath the bed. Then I realised this surface here, even though it's cast, is actually flat enough to mount something on, and it would need a couple of tapped holes in here, which are out the way of everything, so that's okay. So if I was to put like two M6s and bolt a block into here, I could then have a hole at 90 degrees to it, do exactly the same job. I know the loading on these bolts would be sideways, not up and down, which is the ideal, but I'm just thinking, is that a better way to do it? I've already said I'm very rarely going to use the tailstock on this lathe. Do I stay as I am, or do I change over to that other method? I'm undecided, guys. I'm nearly there with the block I've got. I'm going to finish it off, put it on there, and then we'll have a look. I think that's the way to go. But yeah, that's the other way to do it, is the way I've just described. I'll put the step in, and yeah, when I bolt it down, I'll have to leave a little clearance under there. Probably, I don't know, we'll put a bit of shim in there. As you can see, the bolts miss the step. You know, there's a good bit of clearance there. So, happy with that. We just need to middle for diddle this. I'll do that by going, I don't know, how shall I do it? Go 10mm in from either end. I think 2 M5 cap heads will do me, and I'll countersink them down in. And I know I've got plenty of those. And then there'll be an M6 cap head countersunk in the right place to be in the middle. I don't dislike this. I think when I put the bolt in the middle and these end ones, I'll probably put a nice big chamfer on here. Might even chamfer the whole top back. We'll see. Yeah, it's all about making it look nice as well, isn't it? So far I'm happy. I don't think there was anything to be gained by mounting the block in there. The height doesn't give me any problems. So I am going to carry on with the first way. But interesting, there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. It is stuck over this wall. I did leave meat on here. Probably didn't need to. I can always machine it off afterwards. Not a problem. So I think what I need now, in fact what I'm going to do is work out the positions for the 3 holes. The clearance hole for the hole for the M6 countersunk, and the holes for the M5s either end. Work out where they've got to be so that this goes in the right place and that hole's in the right place. I can actually drill the holes in this plate, drill them, counterbore them, for the bolts. Maybe not counterbore at this stage. Doesn't matter. Drill and counterbore them. And then what I can do is actually clamp it up in position. That'll give me, if I'm slightly out on where my hole is centrally, that'll give me where it's supposed to be. Then I can spot down through these two holes to do the drilling in here, which will be done with the hand drill. Or I could spot down through the two of them, just leave them spotted, then when I've got it all in bits again, drill them at that stage. Think that might be the way to go. They don't have to be very big, these. There's no load on them. It's all pulled down, it's just to locate it. You know, there's no reason why I couldn't put a couple of M4s in there, is there? Just hold it down, M4s, countersunk down in, just hold it in position, really. The only load's going to be sideways load if I tried to move the carriage with it clamped. But the clamp down force of the clamping bolt is going to clamp it anyway. So, smaller bolts, I can drill and tap those by hand, happy days, don't need to wait. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to work that out, and that's where we're going to go. So I got a 6mm spotting driller. It's 90 overall. My hole centres will work out nicely if I come 10mm in from either end. So that's no worries. It's overhanging the bed, or the saddle, 19mm either end. So 10mm in from either end. So I've set up centre line as 0 centre, centre this way, offset. What did I say? 35. What am I on? 35, yeah. So offset now. The hole or slot in the bed is 5mm offset to the gap. So I need to drill the hole here instead of on the centre line, which is the bolt that's going to go down to the lock. 5mm offset. So if I do that at a reading of 5, that's 5mm offset. Because measuring from the saddle to the slot in the bed is 11mm one way and 16 the other, which is a 5mm offset. So that's the hole there. And then back to here, can I do it without banging the tripod? It's going to be 35 again, which is there. Okay, so we'll spot that in. I should have flipped this around the other way, really. So they're going to be 4mm bolts. I've decided that already. We decided that when we were chatting earlier, didn't we? Because they don't need to be any bigger. Can I get the parallel out? Oh, it's a good fit under there. Yes. 4mm bolts. I'm just going to double check that I proper tightened that vise, which I did. I don't want that moving. So my 4mm countersinking bit takes an oversized drill. I need to just work that out what size it is, and I'll drill all 3 holes from this side, then I'll flip it and do the countersinks by hand. Probably put it in my little mobile vise and do the countersinks or counterbores for the Allen bolts, you know, holding by hand and picking up on the hole. I've got my little counterbore bit here. Pilot on it is about 4.15, so 4.2 drill either end. Just pop that in. Now, I was thinking of using an M6 Allen bolt. For the clamp, but that would mean having an M6 Allen bolt long enough to do the job. Yeah, I haven't thought too deeply about that anyway. Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge if I got to buy some Allen bolts long enough. So we'll go 35 offset the other way. Tell you what, I'll just pop that one into 5 while I'm passing. Just give that a start, I hope. Even though this is going to be clearance on M6, wouldn't hurt to have a hole in there now. And then 35. Okay. Just make sure. Yeah, that fits in there okay. Of course the count balls are on the other side, so I mustn't do those. So, right, finished with that drill. Need to work out what size pilot's on the 6. I think it's about 6.3 I need for the 6 mil one of these. So it wouldn't hurt to have a clearance hole anyway. Let me put this drill away. Let's just put a countersink in those while we're at it. Put that drill away safe so we don't lose it. Little countersink. Is that going to be long enough without bringing the quill down? I do not know. No, let's just bring the head down a bit. Okay. Over the other side. Lovely. And let's get my 6 mil counter bore out. I don't know if I'm going to do it with a counter bore, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But if I get the 6 out, which is here, let's just measure the pilot on this. About 6.1 again. Okay, let's do it. 6.2. Okay, I need to go to my other drill set. And we'll be back in 2 seconds. 6.2. Have I got to take the head up again now, have I? Yeah. Even more. That's a bit close. Not happy. Now let's go back to 5. Or 5 mil offset. Bang that hole in now. Then we can decide what we're doing on the other side when we get there. Glad I didn't put 8 mil in now, would have been a bit close on the wall edges of this. And obviously this whole piece here didn't have to be there, but I like the look of it with that on. And it gives me some form by which to straighten it all up and align it against the cross slide, the moving cross slide. I can just shim it either end, push it in, clamp it in place, and then, yeah, you know the crack, guys. So, let's put that 6.2 drill back. And we'll count bore in there as well. I'll count the sink. Nice. Right, that's the 3 holes. What are we going to do next? Well, it's ready to come out with ice. So it can come out with ice we'll deburr the other side, we'll clean all the tools, put all the tools away, and we'll look at the next step. So countersinking bit touched off on the top. I'm having to go 8mm deep. Ideal scenario is that I would have had M4 by 16mm long screws, and I've only got M4 by 12. So I'm having to go a little bit deeper to get enough purchase with the screw into the material below. I'm going to set the heads below surface, but not to worry. That's 8mm deep. Okay. Right, that's done with that. I'm still unsure about what to do with the middle. I'm going to have a look at what Allen bolts I can get hold of that are going to be roughly the right length, and then we'll go from there. If I can get Allen bolts, then I'll counterbore it. If I can't get Allen bolts, then I may turn up an M6 stud, lock it in the bottom plate with a nut, so that, let me describe, so that this has got an upstand on it. You know what, I could even turn one, couldn't I? I could turn an upstand on there out of silver steel that came up to within a mil or so of this plate, and then have an Allen bolt going down through, which, you know, 25mm, something like that, which would go down into the upstand. You know what, I might even do that, in which case I can put a counterbore on the top. Okay, that said, I will put the counterbore on the top. Yeah, we found a way around it without buying any funny length Allen bolts. So let's just get a 0 from here. That's a little tight. Is that a burr? Ooh, that's a little tight. Okay, that tells me that pilot don't quite fit in there. 6.3mm drill. That's pretty much a quarter, isn't it? Okay. Power feed up. Ooh, too fast. Okay. Let's just open that hole up. What's going on there? The drill doesn't look right. That drill's bent. Thought it looked bent. Weird. Don't think that's the original one out of my set. Let me just check on that. Let's try the 6.4, because it won't hurt. It's better. That's still quite snug, you know. Maybe that pilot 6.5. Okay, we'll try 6.5. A nice Cobalt 6.5. I really must write on the boxes what the pilots are for these, because I did do it a long time ago. It's come off. Okay. That's going to fit now. It does. Yeah. Yeah, if I write on the boxes, I think, the little packets they come in, right on the box there, what the pilot is, will be good. So, hopefully that fits in the truck. It does. Have I got enough height? No, I haven't. So M6, I'm going to go 6.5 from touch. Let's just get a 0 there. That'll do, mate. Not big enough? You adjust. Sweet. Well, that's the holes in that done. Just did a quick sanity check on the depth of those counterbores, and they're stuck out about 6.5 mil. That's more than enough for a 4 mil bolt. So I need to make something up now to get the spacing right between the clamp and the top. I think it's going to be a piece of 10 mil silver steel, more than likely. We'll do something with a piece of 10 mil silver steel. Yeah. So as you can see, I put an upstand in there now. So simply a piece of tube with an M6 all the way through. I put an M6 bolt in through the bottom, through the tapped hole in the plate, and lock those solid. I will lock tight them moving forward. And then the bolt in the front, push the plate back against double thickness piece of paper. As you can see, as it stands at the moment, it moves. No problems at all. And if I lock that down, okay, we won't go mad. Don't want to force it, that's locked. Okay, so I will actually give that another nip. And now I'm going to spot those 2 holes down into there. So I've got the M4 bolts, 2 of those. So get the drill out, the drill's at the back here, get the drill out, get the right size drill bit in, spot the 2 drills. Then we'll very carefully put the tapping drill for M4, the 3.2 or 3.3 in. It's cast, so 3.2 should be fine. And then we'll tap M4 in the 2 holes and bolt her down. There we are. I've chemical blued the T-nut and done the same on the bracket on the top. Looks quite nice, all oiled up, a couple of champers here and there on it. Yeah, that's it, finished. Well, there we are, guys. Good long video showing warts and all, and my thought process, which maybe it's a look into the way my mind works, and I'll probably get locked up. So anyway, that said, I'm happy with the way it turned out. If I want to change it in future, there's not much time invested in making it. The T-nut's going to stay anyway, but I can change the whole design if I want to. It's nothing permanent. On the Walko, I did put a cross slide lock on it as well, so maybe that's something I'll look at on the little mini lathe as well. But I can't see there being a great need. It was useful on the Walko for milling, but I can't see me doing any milling on this lathe, so not a great problem. I will have to have a fixed point, so that if I turn off the DRO, I will have a fixed point to use for drilling with a tool post. So that's something to think about, but I've sort of already got a half-baked plan to put a stop or a fixed spacer that I can wind back against with a cross slide that will lock that center position. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I have thought about, and it's another little mod that needs to be done, but it doesn't stop me finishing the machine off. So with that said, as I said at the beginning of the video, a Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll more than likely, if I don't manage to put one up over the Christmas break, I'll see you all in the new year. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, we'll see you all very soon. Cheers, guys.